My name's Marian Stevens. I've been employed here at Armstrong Garden Center for about 2.5 years. I'm a certified nursery professional, also a master gardener. And one of the classes that we teach is one called Thriller, Filler, Spiller. A thriller is like your centerpiece, so it usually has some sort of height to it. Then your filler are plants that would go around the base of that central plant, and then your spillers would be ones that would spill over the edge of the pot, so you get a nice looking arrangement that fills in and looks great. Mostly what you're trying to look for when you're doing a pot is, your basic starting point. Is this pot going to be in the sun, or is it going to be in the shade? Because you do need to pick plants that are compatible with each other's sun and water needs. So you kind of want to measure how deep you're going to be planting this plant. You want at least an inch at the top so you can water and it will spill over. So you kind of eyeball it in the pot like this to see how much soil you put in the bottom of the pot as your base. And you want to make sure your soil is a little moist, not really wet, but it crumbles nicely. Because if it's too dry, it won't absorb water it'll be hydrophobic and it won't absorb the water. So you can set that down in there and see if the soil line that is in this pot measures up. I think we still need a little bit of soil. And then the way you use this Sure Start, you don't need a lot of it. And you put that, just some sprinkle in the bottom of the pot, because what you want is for the roots to sit right on top of that. So gently massage your pot here just to make sure that it will come out easily. Hold it upside down and pull it out gently. This has a very nice root system because you can see it, but it's not so compacted that you know it's going to be root bound. So you situate that right on top of that Sure Start, and that'll make those roots really happy and really take off quickly. And you might want to look for some plants that have, like this has lots of little buds in here. Make sure that it's going to continue blooming for you. You don't want to get one that's completely full blown, because in this kind of heat, if you're wanting it to look good in a couple of weeks, you want to make sure that it does look good in a couple of weeks. So get a plant that has some nice buds on it. So then you get your soil in here, you firm it in a little bit. You don't pack it tightly, but you do firm it in a little bit. Then you kind of eyeball your plants into their space. So I'm going to want to see that the top of the plants that you're putting in are even with the thriller in the middle, because you want them to all have the same soil level. So when you're watering, nobody's below the soil level. You don't want the crown of the plant below the soil line. So I'm going to put these about a third, 3 of them. That's just about right. Maybe a little bit too tall. So pull this back a little bit and put that in. And the same thing, massage it just a little bit. Nice little root ball there. Set that right in. So on this side, be the show side. So we're tucking in that paper white, and it'll bloom probably in December with this heat. Usually they're not supposed to come up until January, but last year they were up in December. And these will, if you have this pot still next year like this, that little paper white will come back and bloom again. Probably more because they multiply. Okay, so here you have the final finished product of your Thriller Filler Spiller. The plant we chose in the top is a button mum that has a bright green, lime green center for the fall color foliage. This is an orange mum. We also chose for our filler this beautiful cabbage. This is an ornamental cabbage. It'll grow to be a larger size. Eventually will fill in to be about this size here. And the nice contrasting purple with the orange. And also picking up that same color is this bacopa, which is a nice spiller. Lots of flowers on the bacopa. It blooms almost all year round. It makes for a nice contrast with the Thriller that we have up on top. This is a nice sun plant. Eventually you could plant that centerpiece into the soil, and you could get several seasons out of this bacopa, but the cabbage is an annual. This is a good cool weather planting. The mums will bloom in the wintertime next year. And also inside of this pot we've added a little bit of extra where we've tucked in a couple of paper white bulbs. So a little later on in the season this will sprout up, and around Christmas time you'll have white paper whites to bring in the new year.